Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the English Conversation Podcast. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Daniel. It is fantastic to have you joining us again today for another lesson.
Now, Daniel, I want to ask you a question that I think a lot of our listeners will relate to. Have you ever spent years studying English, learning all the grammar rules, memorizing vocabulary lists, but when you actually open your mouth to speak, you still feel like you sound a bit robotic?
Oh, absolutely. I think every language learner faces that. You sound like a walking textbook, not a real person.
Exactly. You have the building blocks, the bricks and mortar, but you're missing that special ingredient that makes native speech flow so naturally.
And that secret ingredient, Sarah, is idioms.
It is. Native English speakers use idioms constantly in almost every conversation, in business meetings, in emails, in movies. They add color, personality, and that natural rhythm to communication.
Without them, English just sounds a little bit stiff. It sounds too literal.
So today, we are going to solve that problem. We are going to give your vocabulary the ultimate upgrade.
We have collected 20 absolutely essential high-frequency English idioms. These aren't strange, old-fashioned phrases you'll never use. These are practical idioms you need for daily life, work, and casual chats.
And to make it easier to digest, we've divided them into 4 clear parts based on different themes like work, communication, and success.
By the end of this 20-minute episode, you will have the tools you need to stop sounding like a student and start sounding like a confident, natural English speaker.
Before we dive into the first group of idioms, if you enjoy these lessons and want to help support our show, please take a second right now to hit that like and subscribe button.
It really helps other learners find the podcast. Okay, Sarah, are you ready to get started? Okay, let's get started with our first group. These 5 idioms are all focused on the theme of work, effort, and how we perform in professional or academic situations.
These are incredibly useful for the workplace, and the first one is a classic, to bend over backwards.
This gives such a clear mental image. Imagine trying to physically bend your body backwards. It's difficult, uncomfortable, and takes a lot of effort.
Exactly. So when you say you bend over backwards for someone, it means you are trying extremely hard to help them or to satisfy their needs. You are making a massive effort.
And very often, we use this phrase when we feel like that effort isn't being appreciated.
Oh, definitely. You might say something like, I have been bending over backwards all week trying to fix this client's problem, and they haven't even said thank you yet.
That's a perfect example. It highlights the extreme effort you put in. Okay, idiom number 2 is a mistake I think we have all made at some point.
Oh, I am guilty of this one constantly. It is to bite off more than you can chew.
Such a great visual. Imagine shoving a huge piece of steak into your mouth. It's too big. You can't chew it. You can't swallow it. And now you're stuck sitting there looking ridiculous.
Exactly. In life, it means you agreed to take on a task or a project that is way too big or difficult for you to handle. You were overly ambitious, and now you're regretting it.
You hear this a lot in project management. Someone might admit, I said yes to organizing the office Christmas party in addition to my regular work, and honestly, I think I've bitten off more than I can chew. I might need some help.
It's a very useful, slightly humble way to admit you're overwhelmed. Now, idiom number 3 is essential for fast-paced business meetings.
Ah, yes, when you don't have time for small talk.
The idiom is to cut to the chase.
This comes from old silent movies. They would have long, boring, romantic scenes, but the audience just wanted them to skip ahead, to cut to the exciting car chase scene at the end.
Right. So in conversation, to cut to the chase means to skip all the introductory details, the background information, and the small talk, and get immediately to the most important point.
Imagine you're in a meeting that's running late. The boss might interrupt someone and say, "Okay, Sarah, we only have 5 minutes left. Let's cut to the chase. Are you recommending we launch the product next month or not?"
It's direct, but very efficient. Okay, moving on to idiom number 4. This one is often used in performance reviews or sports contexts.
It's about improvement, isn't it?
It is. The phrase is to step up your game.
Your game refers to your performance level, so to step it up means to increase it, to improve it significantly.
A manager might say this to a sales team that isn't meeting its targets. Listen, everyone, we are behind quota this quarter. We all really need to step up our game if we want to hit our bonus.
Or a coach to an athlete. You're playing okay, but if you want to win this championship, you need to step up your game in the second half. It's a call to action for better performance.
And finally, for this group, idiom number 5 is a much nicer phrase to use in the workplace.
Yes, this one involves a bit of empathy.
It is to cut somebody some slack.
Slack refers to a loose rope. If a rope is tight, there is tension. If you give it some slack, it becomes loose and relaxed.
So, metaphorically, to cut someone some slack means to give them a break, to stop judging them or criticizing them so harshly, perhaps because they're new or having a tough time.
Exactly. If a new employee makes a mistake on their first day, you might say to your colleague, "Hey, cut him some slack. It's his first day. He's still learning the ropes."
It's a way of asking for patience and understanding.
So, there is our first group. Bending over backwards with effort, realizing you've bitten off more than you can chew, telling someone to cut to the chase to save time, telling them to step up their game to improve, and asking others to cut them some slack.
Those are 5 fantastic workplace idioms right there. Now, let's move on to our second category. Let's talk about communication, gossip, and rumors.
Great. So, our second group of 5 idioms focuses on how we communicate, how information spreads, and the tricky business of trust.
These are essential for understanding social dynamics, both in the office and in your personal life. And the first one, idiom number 6, is a golden rule of communication.
It certainly is. The idiom is, actions speak louder than words.
This is such a powerful philosophical statement that has become an everyday idiom. It simply means that what people actually do is much more significant than what they say they will do.
Exactly. People can promise you anything. I'll change, I'll work harder, I'll be there on time. Words are easy, but their behavior, their actions is the real truth.
You often hear this used in relationships when trust has been broken. Imagine a friend is always late and they keep apologizing and saying, "I promise I'll be on time next week." You might finally say to them, "Look, stop apologizing. Just show up on time." Actions speak louder than words.
It's a very effective way to demand proof, not just promises. Now, idiom number 7 is all about how unofficial information spreads.
Ah, yes, the office gossip network.
We call it the grapevine. So the idiom is to hear something on the grapevine.
Imagine grapevines twisting and turning and connecting in a vineyard. That's like the network of informal chat, rumors, and gossip that exists in any group of people.
So if you hear something on the grapevine, it means you heard a piece of news, usually a rumor or something unconfirmed, not from an official source, but through this network of gossip.
For example, you might whisper to a colleague at the coffee machine, I heard on the grapevine that the CEO is planning to resign next month. Do you think it's true?
It's the perfect way to introduce sensitive information without revealing who told you or even confirming if it's 100% factual.
Okay, idiom number 8 comes from an old story that I think exists in many cultures.
The fable of the boy and the wolf?
That's the one. The idiom is to cry wolf.
The story goes that a shepherd boy got bored and kept shouting, "Wolf, wolf," just to see the villagers run to help him. There was no wolf. He did it so many times that when a real wolf finally came and attacked the sheep, he shouted "wolf," but nobody believed him and nobody came to help.
So, in modern English, to cry wolf means to raise a false alarm, to ask for help or complain about a problem when it's not actually serious.
And the danger is that if you do it too often, people stop taking you seriously.
Right. If you have a colleague who calls in sick every single Friday with a mysterious illness just to get a long weekend, you might say, "Oh, John is crying wolf again. I bet there's nothing wrong with him."
And someday he might actually be sick, and nobody will believe him. Now, idiom number 9 is not very nice behavior at all.
No, this is about betrayal. The idiom is to sell someone out.
This is a strong phrase. It means to betray a friend or a colleague, usually for your own personal gain. It often involves telling their secrets or snitching on them to an authority figure.
Imagine you told a colleague in confidence that you were looking for a new job. Then, the next day, your boss calls you in and says, "I hear you're leaving." You realize your colleague told the boss to try and get a promotion for themselves.
You would be furious. You'd say, "I trusted you with that information, and you sold me out to the boss just to get ahead." It's a major breach of trust.
And finally, for this communication group, idiom number 10 is a fantastic natural response when you simply don't know the answer to something.
Instead of just saying, "I don't know," you can say, "Your guess is as good as mine."
I love this one. It means we both have the exact same amount of information, which is 0, so any guess you make is just as likely to be true as any guess I make.
It's very natural. If you are standing at a bus stop for 20 minutes and someone asks, "Do you know when the next bus is coming?" You just shrug your shoulders and say, "Sorry, your guess is as good as mine."
So we have actions speak louder than words for demanding proof, hearing it on the grapevine for gossip, crying wolf for false alarms, selling someone out for betrayal, and your guess is as good as mine for when you're clueless.
That is a solid set of phrases for navigating social situations. All right, let's tackle our third group of idioms. Life is full of tricky situations, problems to solve, and decisions to make. These 5 idioms are essential for talking about those challenging moments.
And the first one, idiom number 11, is one of my absolute favorites because the visual imagery is so strong.
Oh, I know the one you mean. It is to add fuel to the fire.
It's such a clear picture. Imagine you have a fire burning. It's already a problem. It's hot, it's dangerous. Then someone comes along and pours petrol, fuel, right onto it.
Boom! The fire explodes. It becomes 10 times bigger, hotter, and harder to control.
Exactly. So to add fuel to the fire means to do or say something that makes an existing bad situation or argument even worse.
Think about a couple who are already having a heated argument. They're shouting. Then one of them brings up an old mistake the other person made 5 years ago.
Oh no, that is definitely adding fuel to the fire. You would say to them, "Look, you are both already angry. Bringing up the past right now is just adding fuel to the fire. Let's calm down first."
It's great advice. Okay, idiom number 12 comes from the world of sports, specifically tennis.
It does. The phrase is, "The ball is in your court."
In tennis, when the ball is hit over the net into your side of the court, you have to hit it back. It is your turn to act. If you do nothing, the game stops.
So in business or negotiations, we use this to mean, I have done everything I can do. I've made my move. Now it is your turn to take the next step or make a decision.
Imagine you've interviewed for a job and they call you to offer you the position with a specific salary. You say you need to think about it. At that moment, the hiring manager might say, "Okay, we've made our best offer. The ball is in your court now. Let us know by Monday."
It puts the responsibility for actions squarely on the other person. Now, idiom number 13 is a very common phrase used when we are learning something new and difficult.
It describes that mental struggle, doesn't it?
It does. The idiom is to get your head around something.
It's a funny image, trying to physically wrap your head around an idea. It basically means to struggle to understand something complicated or to accept a surprising new fact.
It's the process of your brain working hard to figure something out. You might hear this a lot when a company introduces new technology.
Oh, yeah. I've been to the training session, but honestly, I'm still trying to get my head around this new accounting software. It's so confusing.
Or if you hear surprising news, I can't believe Dave got fired. I'm still trying to get my head around it. He seemed like such a good employee.
Okay, moving on to idiom 14. This one is for when you are stuck in the middle of a conflict and you don't want to get involved.
You want to remain neutral. The idiom is to sit on the fence.
Imagine a wooden fence separating two neighbors' gardens. They are having a huge argument over the fence. If you climb up and sit right on top of the fence, you aren't in either garden. You aren't taking either side.
Exactly. It means you refuse to support one side over the other in a dispute or a decision.
This happens a lot when friends argue. You might say to another friend, "Sarah and Jessica are fighting again about money. I don't want to offend either of them, so I'm just going to sit on the fence on this one and stay out of it."
It can be a safe strategy, but be careful. Sometimes sitting on the fence too long makes both sides annoyed with you.
That is very true. And finally, for this group, idiom number 15. This is another one about shared responsibility in a conflict.
You have to be careful with your pronunciation here. It's a bit of a tongue twister.
It is. The idiom is, "It takes two to tango."
A tango is a dramatic, passionate dance. You absolutely cannot do it alone. You need a partner.
So this idiom means that in any situation involving two people, an argument, a failed relationship, a bad business deal, it is rarely just one person's fault. Both parties are responsible to some degree.
You hear this a lot when people are gossiping about a messy breakup. Someone might say, "Oh, it was all his fault. He was awful." And a wiser person might reply, "Well, I'm sure he wasn't perfect, but it takes two to tango. There were probably issues on both sides."
It's a phrase that encourages looking at the whole picture, not just blaming one person.
So that's our problems and decisions group. Adding fuel to the fire, putting the ball in their court, trying to get your head around something complicated, sitting on the fence to stay neutral, and remembering that it takes two to tango.
We are flying through these. We have one final group left. Fantastic. So, here we are at our fourth and final group of idioms. These 5 phrases are all about outcomes, successes, failures, missed opportunities, and managing our emotions when things go right or wrong.
These are idioms you will hear constantly when people are reflecting on their experiences. Let's start with idiom number 16, which relates back to the theme of effort we talked about earlier.
Yes, this one is about scale and perspective.
The idiom is a drop in the ocean.
We used this one right at the start of the show, actually. Imagine the vast Atlantic Ocean. It is unimaginably huge. Now imagine taking a tiny eyedropper and adding one single drop of water to it.
Does that drop make any difference? Not really. It doesn't raise the sea level. It's insignificant.
So, we use a drop in the ocean to describe a very small contribution to a problem or a goal that is enormous.
For example, imagine a charity is trying to raise $1 million and you donate $5. That $5 is nice, but compared to the million they need, it is just a drop in the ocean.
Or think about environmental issues. You might say, I know recycling my plastic bottles is good, but sometimes I feel like my individual effort is just a drop in the ocean compared to the industrial pollution going on globally. It expresses a feeling of powerlessness against something huge.
It does. Now, idiom number 17 is a much more stressful one.
This one always makes me tense up just thinking about it.
It is by the skin of your teeth.
What a weird image, right? Teeth don't have skin.
They don't. Some people think it refers to the thin enamel on your teeth, but regardless of the origin, the meaning is clear. To succeed at something by the narrowest possible margin, you almost failed.
It's that feeling of just barely making it.
Think back to your school days. Did you ever have an exam where you didn't study enough? You were sure you were going to fail, but then you get the results and the pass mark was 50% and you got exactly 51%.
Yes, you would say, I can't believe it. I passed that math exam by the skin of my teeth. It means you were incredibly lucky and only just avoided disaster. You can use it for catching trains, too. The train was pulling away from the platform, but I jumped and made it on by the skin of my teeth.
Phew. Okay. Idiom number 18 is a sad one. It's about the opposite of success. It's about missed opportunities.
The idiom is to miss the boat.
Imagine you are standing on a dock, wanting to go on a journey. You are too slow packing your bags, and when you arrive at the harbor, the boat is already sailing away into the distance without you. You've missed it.
We use this in life when an opportunity comes along, but you don't act fast enough and the chance disappears, probably forever.
For instance, a few years ago, buying Bitcoin was very cheap. Now it's very expensive. Someone might look at the price today and say regretfully, I should have invested back then. I think I've missed the boat on cryptocurrency now.
Or buying concert tickets for a huge superstar. They go on sale at 9 a.m., you log in at 9:15 a.m., and they are sold out. You missed the boat. It's a phrase filled with regret.
Okay, let's cheer things up with idiom number 19. This is a lovely, positive one.
Yes, everybody loves this one. It is a piece of cake.
This is the simplest idiom on our list today. It just means that something is unbelievably easy to do.
Just like eating a delicious piece of cake is easy and enjoyable.
If a colleague asks you, hey, was it difficult to set up that new software? And you found it simple, you just smile and say, nah, don't worry about it. It was a piece of cake. I did it in 5 minutes.
It's a great way to reassure someone that a task isn't difficult.
And finally, our 20th idiom. This is one you use to help someone who is struggling with failure or stress.
It can be a bit strong, so you need to use it carefully.
The phrase is, pull yourself together.
Imagine someone who is falling apart emotionally. They are crying, panicking, or maybe just being very lazy and disorganized. To tell them to pull themselves together means you want them to gather their emotions, calm down, focus, and act normally again.
It's a form of tough love. Imagine your friend has a big presentation at work, and 5 minutes before, they are hyperventilating in the bathroom saying, I can't do it, I'm going to fail.
You might grab their shoulders, look them in the eye, and say, Hey, listen to me. You have prepared for this. You are ready. Take a deep breath, pull yourself together, and go out there and do it.
It's a command to regain control of yourself.
So, our final group, a drop in the ocean for tiny contributions, passing by the skin of your teeth, regretting missing the boat, finding something easy, a piece of cake, and telling someone to pull themselves together.
Wow, 20 essential idioms. We made it.
We did. Now let's wrap this up and talk about how our listeners can actually start using these. Wow, 20 essential idioms. We made it.
We did. That was a lot of vocabulary in a very short amount of time. Now, Daniel, be honest with me. If you heard 20 new phrases in a foreign language today, would you remember all of them tomorrow?
Absolutely not. I would have forgotten half of them by lunchtime. My brain would be full.
Exactly. And that is why our advice right now is do not try to memorize all 20 of these today.
If you try to learn them all at once, you will just be biting off more than you can chew. See what I did there?
Very good. Nice callback to idiom number 2.
Thank you. So instead of overwhelming yourself, here's your strategy for the week. We want you to look back through the list and pick just 5 idioms.
Just 5. Choose the ones that really resonated with you, the ones you thought were funny, or the ones you think you will actually have a chance to use in your daily life or job.
Ignore the other 15 for now. Just focus on mastering those 5 essential phrases this week.
And here's your homework task to help you do that. Take your chosen 5 idioms and write one sentence for each of them.
Try to make the sentences true to your own life. You can write them in a notebook, put them on Post-it notes on your fridge, or even better, write them in the comments section if you're listening on a platform that allows it.
We love reading your examples, and writing them down is the best way to move them from your short-term memory into your long-term memory.
Thank you so much for joining us today and for putting in the effort to improve your English. We know it's not always easy, but hey, sometimes it can be a piece of cake, right?
It certainly can. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next lesson. Keep practicing, step up your game, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, everyone.